My name is Grainne Kelly and I'm the CEO and founder of BubbleBum. And BubbleBum is the world's first inflatable car booster seat for children. We're currently exporting to 28 countries. The things that we would consider before entering a new market would be the language, the culture and the economy. And the language is really important because if we don't speak the language, it's just adding another barrier for us. I moved with my husband and children to America for a year to try and understand the American culture. So even though I could speak the language, culturally I didn't have a clue. And then from an economy perspective, if you're trying to launch your product into a territory where the economy is really poor, you're going to find that the consumer isn't going to have the money to buy the product. And those are three of the most important things that we look at whenever we're entering into a new market. A lot of our export market research we do conduct ourselves in-house. We would also use the Invest NI library, which is really helpful for competitor analysis. Now that we have learned what we've learned, we did start out far too early exporting to far too many countries, and we weren't resourced to do it. And that's not possible unless you've got somebody either based on the ground there or unless you've got somebody who speaks all of the languages. So what we ended up doing is we ended up saying we're going to be proactive in maybe 4 territories and reactive in the rest. When we're entering new markets overseas, we've tried lots of different strategies, and in the beginning we tried going direct, and that didn't work for us because we were too small. And then we started using distributors, and when we were using distributors that worked out quite well for us, but then we started to outgrow some of the distributors that we were with. So we've now actually come full circle back round again, and we're now selling directly again. In America, for example, we've never used a distributor, we've only ever sold directly to retail. So we were managing to sell from Ireland into big box retailers in the US, but we weren't able to do the same thing in the UK, for example, because they wanted to see you selling through a distributor first until you had a bit of credibility in the marketplace. Our export marketing plan is based mainly around e-commerce at the moment. So we've done all the big box retailers, we've sold to Walmart, we've sold to Target, and we actually had full chain rollouts in both of those stores, but we discovered that we were selling more product more profitably online than we were in about 4,000 stores. Some of the risks involved with export, well, the number one risk involved with export is not getting paid. So for us, we always make sure that if we're starting with a new customer that we get payment up front, or we would take credit insurance against those distributors. One of the main problems that we have found entering new markets is actually legislation. There's different legislation for every territory that we go into. We have to go through a different regulatory approval for every territory that we go into. So that in itself can really be a barrier for export. People often ask me, would you do anything differently? And the answer to that question is a resounding no, because I would have never learned what I learned over such a short period of time. But the one piece of advice probably I would give is, if you're entering into a new market, if you're going to make mistakes, try and make them on a smaller level first. So if you're going to trial something, trial it in a much smaller territory first, and therefore you're burning your finger on a match rather than bonfire. My top 3 tips for export are: number 1, make sure you know your sweet spot customer for that specific territory because it will change by territory. Number 2, make sure that you know how to find that customer. So you need to know where they hang out. And number 3, make sure you're resourced. So you need both the people and the finances.